Hello, my amazing friends. Today, you are going to learn English with a very special story. This is not just any story. This is the story of Lewis Hamilton. Who is Lewis Hamilton? Lewis Hamilton drives very fast cars. He is from England. He is 39 years old. He is one of the most famous men in the world. But Lewis was not always famous. When he was a small boy, he lived in a normal house. His family did not have much money, but Lewis had a big dream. Today, we will learn his amazing story together. We will learn new English words. We will practice listening. We will see how a small boy became a world champion. This story will help you learn English in a fun way. Every word I say is simple. Every sentence is easy to understand. You can listen and learn at the same time. Are you ready? Let's begin this incredible journey. Let's learn about Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Carl Davidson Hamilton was born on January 7th, 1985. He was born in a small town called Stevenage. Stevenage is in England. England is a country in Europe. Lewis lived with his mother and father. His mother's name was Carmen. His father's name was Anthony. Anthony worked very hard. He had many different jobs. Sometimes he worked in the morning. Sometimes he worked at night. The Hamilton family did not have much money. They lived in a small house. Lewis shared his bedroom with his brother. His brother's name was Nicholas. When Lewis was very young, he loved cars. He loved watching cars on television. He loved playing with toy cars. His favorite toys were small racing cars. Lewis was different from other children. Other children liked to play football. Other children liked to play games. But Lewis only wanted to talk about cars. When Lewis was 6 years old, something very important happened. His father took him to a place with go-karts. Go-karts are small racing cars for children. Lewis sat in the go-kart. He put his hands on the wheel. He pressed the pedal. The go-kart moved very fast. Lewis felt something special. He felt happy. He felt free. "I want to do this every day," Lewis told his father. His father smiled. "Maybe one day you can," his father said. From that day, Lewis knew what he wanted to do. He wanted to drive racing cars. He wanted to be the fastest driver in the world. But there was one problem. Racing cars cost a lot of money. Lewis's family did not have much money. How could Lewis follow his dream? Anthony Hamilton loved his son very much. He saw that Lewis was special with cars. He saw that Lewis had a gift. Anthony made a very difficult decision. He decided to help Lewis follow his dream. But this meant Anthony had to work more hours. He had to work harder than ever before. Anthony worked 3 jobs. In the morning, he worked in an office. In the afternoon, he fixed computers. At night, he worked in a factory. He was very tired, but he never stopped. Why did Anthony work so hard? Because he wanted to buy Lewis a go-kart. A good go-kart costs a lot of money. Anthony saved every penny. Finally, when Lewis was 8 years old, Anthony had enough money. He bought Lewis his first real go-kart. Lewis was so happy. He cried tears of joy. "This is the best day of my life," Lewis said. Anthony took Lewis to a karting track. A karting track is a special place where people race go-karts. Lewis put on a helmet. He put on special clothes. Lewis climbed into his go-kart. He started the engine. The engine made a loud noise. Lewis felt excited and scared at the same time. "Remember," Anthony said, "always be safe, but also have fun." Lewis drove his go-kart around the track. At first, he was slow, but every lap he became faster. Other people at the track watched Lewis. They were surprised. "That boy is very good," they said. "He learns very quickly." Lewis practiced every weekend. Rain or sun, hot or cold, Lewis was at the karting track. He loved every minute. Anthony was proud of his son. But Anthony was also very tired. Working 3 jobs was not easy. Sometimes Anthony fell asleep at work because he was so tired. But Anthony never complained. He knew his son was special. He knew Louis could achieve great things. Louis practiced karting for many months. Every weekend he became better and better. Soon, Louis was ready for his first race. Louis was nervous. There were many other children with go-karts. Some children had newer go-karts. Some children had faster go-karts. But Louis was not worried about his go-kart. He was worried about making mistakes. "What if I crash?" Louis asked his father. "Don't think about crashing," Anthony said. "Think about winning." The race began. Louis started in the middle of all the go-karts. When the green flag waved, all the go-karts moved forward very fast. Louis was careful at first. He watched the other drivers. He learned how they drove around corners. He learned when to go fast and when to go slow. After a few laps, Louis started to pass other go-karts. One by one, he moved to the front. The people watching the race were amazed. "Who is that boy?" they asked. "He drives like a professional." Louis won his first race. He was so happy. Anthony was so proud. They celebrated together. This was just the beginning. Louis won many more races. He won races every weekend. Soon, everyone knew about the fast boy from Stevenage. Louis was not just fast. He was also smart. He understood how to make his go-kart better. He understood how to drive in different weather. When it rained, Louis was still fast. When it was sunny, Louis was still fast. Other families at the karting track had much more money than the Hamilton family. They had expensive go-karts. They had teams of people to help them. But Louis still won races. How did Louis win? Louis won because he worked harder than everyone else. Louis won because he never gave up. Louis won because he believed in his dream. When Louis was 10 years old, he won the British Karting Championship. This is a very important prize. Only the best young drivers can win this championship. Louis was the youngest winner ever. People started to talk about Lewis Hamilton. They said he could become a professional racing driver one day. But Louis was still just a boy. He still went to school. He still did his homework. He still played with his friends. But every weekend, he was a racing champion. Louis's success in karting brought new opportunities. Big racing teams heard about the fast boy from Stevenage. They wanted to help Louis move to bigger and faster cars. When Louis was 13 years old, something amazing happened. A man from McLaren came to see Louis race. McLaren is one of the most famous racing teams in the world. The man from McLaren was impressed. He offered Louis a special contract. This contract would help Louis become a professional racing driver. Louis was so excited. This was his dream coming true. But the contract also meant Louis would have to work even harder. He would have to travel to many different countries. He would have to learn to drive many different types of racing cars. Louis's father was happy but also worried. Professional racing is dangerous. Cars can crash. Drivers can get hurt. But Anthony knew this was Louis's dream. He supported his son's decision. Louis signed the contract with McLaren. He became part of the McLaren family. This was the beginning of a new chapter in Louis's life. Louis moved from go-karts to formula cars. Formula cars are much bigger and much faster than go-karts. They can go 200 kilometers per hour or more. At first, driving formula cars was very difficult for Louis. The cars were so fast and so powerful. Louis had to learn new skills. He had to learn how to control these powerful machines. But Louis was a quick learner. Soon, he was winning races in formula cars, too. He won championships in Formula Renault. He won championships in GP2. Every year, Louis moved to faster and more advanced racing cars. Louis's dream was to drive in Formula One. Formula One is the highest level of car racing. Formula One cars are the fastest racing cars in the world. They can go 350 kilometers per hour. Only the best drivers in the world can drive Formula One cars. There are only 20 Formula One drivers at any time. It is very difficult to become a Formula One driver. But Lewis worked hard for this goal. He trained his body to be strong. He trained his mind to be focused. He studied every detail about racing cars and racing techniques. In 2007, when Lewis was 22 years old, his dream came true. McLaren gave Lewis a seat in their Formula One team. Lewis became the first black Formula One driver in history. This was a very special moment. Formula One had existed for many years, but there had never been a black driver before. Lewis was breaking barriers. He was showing that anyone can achieve their dreams, no matter what color their skin is. Lewis's first Formula One race was in Australia. He was very nervous. Formula One races are watched by millions of people around the world. Lewis knew that many people would be watching him. The race began. Lewis started in fourth position. This means there were 3 cars in front of him. But Lewis was not worried. He knew he was fast. During the race, Lewis showed everyone how good he was. He passed car after car. He drove with skill and confidence. When the race finished, Lewis was in third place. Third place in your first Formula One race is amazing. Most drivers take years to finish in the top 3, but Lewis did it in his very first race. People around the world were talking about Lewis Hamilton. They said he was special. They said he could become world champion one day. Lewis's first season in Formula One was incredible. He won his first race in Canada. He won more races in the United States and Hungary. By the end of the season, Lewis almost became world champion. Lewis finished second in the championship. He lost by just 1 point. This was disappointing, but Lewis learned an important lesson. He learned that in Formula One, every point matters. Every race matters. In 2008, Lewis's second season, he was determined to become world champion. He worked even harder. He trained more. He studied more. He was ready to fight for the championship. The 2008 season was very exciting. Lewis won 5 races, but other drivers also won races. The championship fight went to the very last race of the season in Brazil. Lewis needed to finish in 5th place or better to become world champion. The race was very difficult. It was raining. Wet races are always dangerous and unpredictable. During the race, Lewis was not in 5th place. He was in 6th place. This meant he would not become world champion. Lewis was very worried. But in the last corner of the last lap, something amazing happened. Lewis passed another car and moved to 5th place. Lewis became world champion by just 1 point. Lewis was so happy. He cried tears of joy. His father Anthony was there to celebrate with him. All those years of hard work had paid off. Lewis was the world champion at just 23 years old. Lewis became the youngest Formula One world champion in history at that time. He was also the first black world champion. This was a historic moment for Formula One and for the world. After winning his first championship, Lewis continued to race and win. He won his second championship in 2014. Then he won again in 2015, 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. Lewis won 7 world championships in total. Only one other driver in history has won 7 championships. Lewis is one of the greatest drivers ever. But Lewis is not just a great racing driver. He is also a good person who cares about important issues. Lewis speaks about equality and fairness. He uses his fame to help make the world a better place. Lewis started a foundation to help young people from poor families. He wants to give other children the same opportunities that he had. He knows that many talented children never get the chance to follow their dreams because they don't have enough money. Lewis also cares about the environment. He became vegan, which means he doesn't eat meat. He drives electric cars when he is not racing. He wants to protect the planet for future generations. In 2021, Lewis was given a very special honor. Queen Elizabeth made him Sir Lewis Hamilton. This means Lewis is now a knight. This is one of the highest honors that can be given to a British person. Lewis's journey from a small boy in Stevenage to a world champion and knight is truly amazing. His story shows us that with hard work, determination, and support from family, any dream is possible. Lewis is still racing today. In 2025, he will join Ferrari, which is his childhood dream team. Even though Lewis is 39 years old, he still believes he can win more championships. What can we learn from Lewis Hamilton's story? We can learn many important lessons. First, never give up on your dreams. Lewis faced many challenges, but he never stopped believing in himself. Second, hard work is more important than natural talent. Lewis worked harder than anyone else to achieve his goals. Third, family support is very important. Lewis's father, Anthony, sacrificed a lot to help Lewis follow his dream. Fourth, use your success to help others. Lewis uses his fame and money to make the world better. Fifth, breaking barriers is important. Lewis showed that anyone can succeed, regardless of their background or skin color. Lewis Hamilton's story is one of the most inspiring stories in sports. From a small boy with a big dream to a 7-time world champion, Lewis has shown us that anything is possible. His journey teaches us about perseverance, dedication, and the power of believing in yourself. Lewis Hamilton is not just a great racing driver. He is a role model for people around the world. Thank you for learning English with Lewis Hamilton's amazing story. I hope his story inspires you to follow your own dreams and never give up. If you enjoyed this story and want to learn more English, please subscribe to our channel. We have many more inspiring stories that will help you improve your English while learning about amazing people. Remember, like Lewis Hamilton, you can achieve anything you set your mind to. Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep believing in yourself. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next story.